Hi there, so here I am now with Ryoko Natari, and she's quite an experienced skater. You've been skating most of your life, right? Yeah, so she's got a pretty good backspin, but I'm going to see if I can help make her backspin even better. So Ryoko, please show us your backspin. Show us your best backspin. Wow, so good. That's pretty good. She hardly traveled at all on that spin. For all intents and purposes, it was well centered. You seem to, at the very beginning of the spin, have a little difficulty. If you look at the pattern here on the ice, you can see that you did kind of a 3-turn at the beginning like you're supposed to, but then instead of doing circles on a back outside edge after that 3-turn, you did another 3-turn and then another 3-turn, and then finally you got on a back outside edge and did a very good spin. So I think it's quite important to be able to get onto the back outside edge right at the beginning, right? So and what I think is important to be able to do this is to use the free leg effectively. So the free leg is inside the curve and it stays inside the curve. So as you do the 3-turn, it stays inside the curve, right? It's inside the curve here, and then you go cross it. So it's inside now this new curve. So I think it's quite important to cross the free leg immediately as you go into the spin. As you do the 3-turn, free leg cross. You want to try that? Yeah, that idea. Let's try that.
I usually do this exercise to practice this.
Yes, that's a very good exercise to practice. You can, and it's even better if you can hold. So you're just going to do a 3-turn, and then try to hold that back outside edge.
Okay.
If you can. And 3-turn into the position and hold of, yeah, exactly. Okay, now that you've done that exercise, let's check out your backspin. See if you can stay on that back outside edge. She starts with a nice deep edge and right onto the back outside edge and staying on the back outside edge. Brilliant. Good. And so you did exactly what we asked for. You did a 3-turn here at the beginning of the spin, and then you stayed on your back outside edge. Now, okay, now how else can you did travel a little bit on that spin.
It was difficult to stay on the outside edge after 3 times.
Yeah.
So let me try one more time.
So yeah, this does take a little practice to be able to do this well and to do it smoothly so that you don't start the spin traveling. Wow, what a good student you are. That time you got right on your back outside edge and you stayed on your back outside edge, and you had a very good well-centered spin. Now, the spin started traveling, so there's getting the spin to center at the beginning, and then there's keeping it there. And both are difficult. To keep the spin from traveling once it's in one place, you just have to stay on the same place on the blade. If you do any rocking, like shifting around on your blade, either wobbling this way or rocking this way or any kind of motion, it starts to travel. So it's just a question of how refined your balance is, how well that spin is going to stay centered. So let's pay particular attention now to feeling what part of the blade you're on and staying right there. Your toe pick is just barely going to touch the ice, and you're not going to wobble about. Good. That's a well-centered spin. That's a very good centered spin. Now we can see, so we want to keep making this spin better and better. You can see that there's a lot of snow on the ice, and when we listen to that spin, we can hear the spin is a little noisy. So what's creating that noise, that snow and the noise? Well, one thing is the toe pick. You're a little heavy on your toe pick. So if you could try not to put quite as much weight on the front of your foot, so that you have a little less, like still have the toe pick touching the ice, but not digging into the ice as much. That would be better. Then you will retain your speed better. Yeah, so at the beginning of the spin, that was really good. You got on a back outside edge, it circled around on itself, it stayed right in one place. You didn't make any snow, so wow. And then you kind of lost your balance, and then it started to travel a little bit, and you made some snow, and it made some noise as well. Good, I think we covered like 4 or 5 different points.
I have one thing.
Yes.
When I was young, competitive young skater, I got into the positions, really high positions, and coming into like this. But after I skating as adults, especially after the COVID, not so much ice time and then like a loss of flexibility, it's so hard for me to be on these positions in the beginning. Like after I go into and then be on this position, it's so difficult to be in. So as you said, leave my free leg inside of the circle, but low, and then bringing here. Yes.
You can have your free leg inside the curve and still have it high. That's kind of 2 separate things. Yeah, I mean, you can practice trying to get your free leg high. I think it kind of looks nice actually at the beginning of the spin. And actually the first one you showed, the free leg was higher, but it wasn't inside the circle. So maybe those 2 ideas are kind of related, because it is easier to get your free leg higher if it's over here, maybe, than crossed. This is the position I would recommend, something like this.
Okay.
Try it, see if you can go in with the free leg high. And even if your free leg isn't high right at the very beginning of the spin, lift it up as high as you can after you get into the spin. Ooh, starting with very good speed now. Wow, can she handle all that speed? And nice deep edge in the spin, free leg high. Nice and quiet. Yeah. Okay, so the free leg was high. Yeah, that was too much speed. Well, yeah, you skated into that suddenly with way more speed than you did before. And ultimately, that's what we want to do. We want to skate into our spin with lots of speed and a really deep edge. But then it becomes more difficult going from that deep leaning edge to the near flat that you want to be on smoothly, from the deep leaning edge to the near flat for the spin. And you didn't handle that very well, and so you didn't keep it centered. But yeah, I think the free leg looks very nice high like that.
But probably why I'm practicing this backspin is more about in order for me to get the good positions in Axel. So I probably don't need this much speed and this much like high free leg, just get into the position. Yes, go. Yes. And see, I think this is a very good point, and I would like to stress the importance of what you just said, because
when you do an axel, you have to get immediately into your backspin position in the air. After you take off, you got to get immediately, you don't have a lot of time to get into your backspin position. So that's why I think it's very important to be able to do a backspin where you get immediately onto a back outside edge at the beginning of the spin. It's a skill that you should master before you even try your axel, in my opinion. Anything else before we
Well, maybe
adjourn for
I
today?
can put together the axle into the box.
Ah, you're going to do an axel now?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look.
I'll do 3 jump first.
Ah, okay. Okay, that looked quite nice. Looks like you're ready for your axel.
No, not ready. No.
Seems to be like you're a little quick on your 3 jump, like you're kind of like kicking and punching rather than just letting it swing. Just a nice natural swing rather than punching and kicking. Because you lose your balance when you do things that are quick. You can still do a waltz jump and an axel with very quick timing like that, but you're more likely to lose your balance and be inconsistent. So just a nice, smooth, yeah, see, that's better, right? So how do you feel? Are you ready for your axel now?
Okay.
Let's give it a shot.
Okay.
Good. Nicely done. So you have a pretty good mohawk. You got a nice deep edge leading into the jump. And how did that feel? It's not the best axel I've seen you do by any means, but it's your first one today, right? When was the last time you did an axel? You know, maybe earlier in the week?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think I can go much more longer distance for forward outside edge, so I can jump longer distance rather than small jumps.
how would you do that? You would just think about jumping farther or skid less on the takeoff?
I think this is interesting. So if I have a fear, I try to make it compact. Right? So trying to rotate very soon so I can land it, you know. So that's something that came up to me after the COVID 3 years time off. So gradually I want to make the distance, and then what I usually do to not to go to the small compact jump, I'll do the forward outside exercise usually like this.
Yeah, there is a psychological aspect to doing a bigger axel. You have to kind of get rid of your fear and be just have a desire to soar. Yeah, that's a pretty nice forward outside edge.
But I could not be on the forward outside edge this much deeper and then sustainable and then steady.
Yeah. Good, a bigger axle. Yeah, good for you.
ありがとうございます。Thank you.
どういたしまして。